What is up, y'all? Welcome to my fantasy football podcast, y'all. Episode number 10. Super excited to have you if you're watching. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I told you I was gonna release the episodes on Mondays and Thursdays. It is Tuesday day. Chiefs played last night, and if you can tell, the Chiefs suck. I'm so mad. I tried to come on here and record the podcast. I ain't even going to give clips or nothing. I deleted them. Man, that was a disappointing performance. It's not the Chiefs, man. You can't let the Jacksonville Jaguars fall down, get up, get in the end zone, give away an interception. I mean, that the ending of that game looked like bad football. That's not the Chiefs, and that's why I heard a take today on First Take, and it was the Chiefs are nothing but big names, and man, that's it right now. Chris Jones, where are you at? Who are you, man? McDuffie, he was doing the same thing. I watched the end zone view. McDuffie is loafing as well. No one's getting to the ball. It's kind of sad. Ominahu's on his butt. Trevor Lawrence is able to fall down twice and get up. And this is one play. The play before, we're getting penalties. The Chiefs had 13 penalties. It's the whole team, man. I mean, granted, Patrick Mahomes, yeah, he's great. Yeah. But if he's the only one that's good, it's not going to help out the rest of the team. If he's the only one that can run the football and he's the Chiefs' leading rusher, that's a problem. I feel like I just needed to vent a little on why the Chiefs are so bad right now. It's really disappointing because as a Chiefs fan, you need to be able to grade these guys on if they're going to win the Super Bowl or not. They don't look like they're about to win a Super Bowl, man. And it's sad to say. But, it is early. But we play the Lions this week on a short week. We got to get after them. If we don't look good against the Lions, man, I mean, there's not much of a chance of us competing in the playoffs. We're third in the division right now, for Christ's sake. I mean, I talked about it last week. I said, it could be possible that there's a three-way tie in the division. The Chargers could lose and the Broncos could win and the Chiefs could win. But no, the Chiefs lose. Now we're third in the division, man. We could have been tied here. And this is where you really fall behind, and you really might fall out of a wild card spot here. As you know, this is like the Ravens, man. The Ravens might take their division too, but you can't do much. I'm gonna hop into my week. Betting wise, we'll start there. We're gonna get all the negatives out of the way first. Boom. We came out minus 178. I hit two good parlays and I lost about 10 parlays. I thought it was gonna be a good weekend. I thought I spread out my parlays very well. But no, I didn't because the Bills lost, the Eagles lost, and the Chiefs lost. If the Lions would have lost, I would have made $0 because that's where all of my money came from. This was a sad weekend. I was up $75 and now we're down 103. So that's okay on the year. It's not killer, down $100. It's not that bad. That just means we're having fun, right? We'll be okay here. But it was nice to be up on the year. And we really got to get back on them because the Chiefs money line killed me too. I thought this was going to be a good week. I had so many bonus bets that I had built up and were ready to place this week, and I ruined them all. I do have a lot of good price picks bets though. I turned like $2 into about 75 this weekend, which was very impressive. But at the same time, that doesn't mean anything when you're losing $100 money line bets. Here we are. Record for the year in fantasy pick'em. We went 8 for 14 on the week. It's green because that means we're positive over 500 there. We'll hop over here to the actual picks. And here we are, Rams, 49ers, bad pick there. This is a crazy week for comebacks and teams that just turned it around, man. This is the 49ers team that we thought were going to come in banged up and lose to the Rams. I almost didn't even give this game enough credit. I was like, hey, man, you got to just give this one to the Rams because of all the injuries and stuff. But no, here the 49ers are coming out with Mac Jones looking good, better than ever. Defense came out to play too. They're like, hey, we're not hurt. we'll be okay over here. Um, they'll be fine. It was just Nick Bosa on the end. So Fred Warner, he's the leader of that defense. We did talk about that, and he produced this week for them. Vikings Browns. This was a really close one. They almost covered the spread. Almost doesn't count, but very close game. I was. This is always exciting to watch the Browns. The Browns just traded Joe Flacco, so to the Bengals. So we'll see where that goes for them. I think Shador would be great as a starter, but I just don't see the Browns making that decision now. Dylan Gabriel, they drafted him before him, and they've started him before him, and they've put him into more reps than Shador. I could see maybe 6 to 8 weeks Shador playing, but just with all the capital and time that they've already spent with Dylan Gabriel, I just don't see it coming across. The Browns are really going to have to figure it out in the passing game. Quinshon Junkins, he's really helping them, the rookie. He's really helping them in the run game. They have a really good running team, too. Jerome Ford's back there as well. And another new guy, too, another rookie as well. So great trio team in the run, but you got to get some passes off here. That's why they're 1-4. Speaking about being hurt, we were up here talking about the 49ers and Rams, and we almost discounted the 49ers. And that's what you have to do in games like this. If your starting quarterback's hurt and he's that elite of a player, Cooper Kush, he can't do it, man. He didn't do it. They looked pitiful, quite honestly, and the Texans just ran away with this one. The Texans took their starters out in the fourth quarter. That's crazy for an NFL game. Panthers, Dolphins, what a comeback here, man. I just think that the Dolphins, I mean, they're up 17-0, and Mike McDaniels, he just doesn't know how to call plays. Stops throwing it to Jalen Waddle, gives it over, starts giving the ball away, leaving it on the ground, and then the Panthers defense comes in clutch again, man. They held these guys for freaking one whole half to one touchdown, and they came back and were able to score 27 points. That riles your offense up, man. If you're able to get the freaking other offense off the field and get your offense out there, those guys are ready to go. If they're rolling, man, they want to score some touchdowns. Very impressive by the Panthers, quite honestly. I love that they're 2 wins, a 30-0 against the Falcons, and a 17-0 comeback here. Very impressive. Raiders, Colts, obviously a cover here for the Colts. I don't know why anyone wouldn't have given them 6.5. Those guys need 15 against the Raiders. Raiders look very bad. And they have some good players, which is kind of scary. They need a new quarterback, most definitely. I think that's where their key player is. They always end up going with some mid-level quarterback. They really need to step their game up, get an elite guy, and it would take care of the team. I feel like there's no reason why you wouldn't center your team around an elite quarterback. Look at the Bills, look at the Ravens, look at the Bengals, look at the Chiefs, look at the Eagles. Look at the Buccaneers. Look at all the teams that are good right now have an elite quarterback. There's not one team you can tell me that's out here. Even the Packers, Jordan Love, elite. These guys have to be really good if they want to play at a supreme level, and you got to have a good quarterback. Geno Smith is not a good quarterback. Saints, Giants, ouch. Giants, you look good one week, you look bad another. You're like the Chiefs. I like that. And what's sad here is we went the last 5 weeks, or the last 4 weeks, we were picking the Saints, and I was like, man, I can't give my boys another pick here. So we gave it to the Giants because they were playing well. And look what happens. My boys, Saints, take it back. Hopefully the Saints can get some little production here. I think Taysom Hill comes back in a couple weeks. So that's my NFC team. So hopefully they get a couple wins under the belt. It's glad they got at least one win. And Alvin Kamara, he needs to step up too. Kendre Miller, their backup running back, he's really looking like the more producer out of the two. But at the same time, Kamara, they're all over him. He's really their only outlet in the run game. So if you stick 3 guys on him, it's a lot harder for him. Cowboys, Jets here. Cowboys, we knew that they would take it. The Jets 0-5, man. It's sad to be the only 0-5 team. But someone's got to be it. And Cowboys 2-1. Whatever. And Jerry's up in the stands just giving people the birds, man. Just pointing at them. Just all of you. They beat the Jets, man. Relax, all right, Jerry? He's crazy, man. last week he was like, well, they got Micah and we got our players and we tied, so we're even. And now he's off flipping up people off, man. This guy's crazy. Broncos, Eagles, man. Let's go. Happy, man. I love that the Broncos took this one. I hate the Eagles. I almost wanted to go with the Broncos for covering wise, but the fact that they beat them, ooh, that's a win in my heart. This almost eases the burn of the Chiefs losing because this is a very similar situation. You have a really good defense with a young quarterback who's playing really well, and you beat an established team who's struggling in their offense. It's the same thing. The Eagles are struggling in their offense. They can't pass the ball downfield. AJ Brown is online talking about how dissatisfied he is with the offense and what's going on, and that's not good to see. Especially if you're not talking to your quarterback, even when they're on the sideline. It looks like they go two separate ways and aren't doing their own thing. Jalen Hurts, obviously, very smart guy, whatever, but you got to give it to these young cats, man. They come out and they play defense and they let their quarterback shine here. They go for a good run game. That's what the freaking Jaguars did last night too. Etienne, he runs the ball well. He gets them a couple yards of carry, opens up a couple passing lane options. These young teams, you got to watch out for. They'll come in and snipe you, man. Watch out for the Broncos here. That's a team everybody was saying they would heat up, and it looks like they're connecting. Titans come back on the Cardinals, man. I don't know what it is in me, but I've just never been a Cardinals fan. I remember watching a Cardinals game versus the Chiefs when I was very young, right around Thanksgiving, and it was very disappointing because the Chiefs were very bad. Since that day, I have not liked the Cardinals, and watching them throw the lead to the Titans and make them get up with their first win was very exciting. Cam Ward on the Titans looks amazing. I love that he's a young quarterback doing his thing, man. Coming out in the fourth quarter, just doing your thing. You got to be able to do that. Obviously, Cardinals they're on like their fourth string running back. So like, let's be easy on these guys. I'm sure Kyler was trying to just absolutely do everything, and that's where they kind of get hurt, which is sad. He shouldn't have to do everything either. He's not that guy. He needs to be able to have some running backs for him too, so he can do the read option. He can't just take the ball for himself. Titans though, looking good. I don't think they'll win many more games unless they do some crazy comebacks. But hey, you got to give them one, right? Buccaneers, Seahawks. I chose the Seahawks here, man, but I'm glad the Buccaneers won this game. I thought injuries would play a role here, and they didn't. This is another one that I kind of overlooked, the fact that these guys can still go out and ball, man. And Rachaad White's not a bad running back. He looked out there, and I forgot that him and Bucky had a great offense. And now look at them taking over the Seahawks, who are a complete team. This was a crazy game too, man. I think both quarterbacks threw for over 350 yards and like 2 touchdowns. That's like Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff level performances. Coming down here, speaking of Jared Goff, Lions, Bengals, knew they'd cover. Close cover, though. Bengals came out towards the end and just started chucking the ball out there. Jamar Chase had a day. That's good for the fantasy. I'm telling you what, especially as a guy who drafted him round one, pick one. I'm glad that he had his yards. But it's kind of sad because they're just chucking the ball up to him. However, I'm glad I didn't trade him because the Bengals just made a decision to trade for Joe Flacco. And if anybody knows about Joe Flacco, this guy is like Kirk Cousins, but better. I mean, he can just come into your team and get the ball where it needs to be thrown, and he's going to be a systematic quarterback. I think this could be really good for the Bengals. Quite honestly, I think this could show up how Joe Burrow is not that. I mean, okay. Let me calm down because Joe Burrow is obviously an elite quarterback. He knows what he's doing. He's won a national championship in college. But I think this shows how good the Bengals offense actually is. When you have a quarterback who can go in and run the offense and just do his thing. Let's just see what happens. Lions, though, they took this game. We got to give it to them. Those boys are going to put it on. Speaking of next week, playing the Chiefs, kind of scared. Chiefs were favored on a sports book that I saw, which is absolutely insane. Spread Chiefs Lions. We are sitting at Lions plus 1.5. Very strange. The Chiefs just lost last night on Monday Night Football. Oh, it's at Chiefs Stadium, which could be part of that reasoning. Man, that's a crazy one to have the Chiefs favored at. I guess you can't really put the Chiefs at dogs at home, but that's a very interesting line already. That might move this week. Might go down to point 0.5 just because of how close of a game that's going to be. Very good game. I would go if the tickets weren't $380 plus. Commanders Chargers. I love that the Commanders won this. I'm glad that they were underdogs in this, but they took them to the house, man. Chargers are kind of steaming down. They were kind of riding on top of the hill at the beginning of the season, and now they kind of figured out what they're doing. They obviously look pretty good, but the Commanders stuck it to them. And the Commanders look really good on offense with Jaden Daniels. I loved watching them. Run game looks really good as well. Having all these young guys at running back really helps these teams, I feel like, too. That's something watching the Chiefs game last night, I struggled with, was that, Kareem Hunt and Pacheco, they looked abysmal to Brashad Smith. I mean, Brashad Smith looked like a better running back. So you got to give it to these young guys, especially at the running back position. It's just such a hard position to be super elite at every game. And if you let these young guys kind of spread touches out and stay fresh through the whole game, I think that really helps. I've been talking to a couple people, Ravens fans, about how Derrick Henry, all of his fumbles and his lackluster performances in the fourth quarter, it's because these guys are old and they get tired, man. That's like Travis Kelce. They all look tired in the fourth quarter. You got to take into account for these things. Young cats can last a little longer. Speaking of young cats, Drake May, he took the Bills, man. And it was at the Bills, which I thought was very surprising. I loved this loss here. And like I talked about with the Eagles one, this is going to be something that eases the burn from the Chiefs. Obviously, you know, Josh Allen, he's not going to have 1,000 great games, but he didn't look like himself in this game. And I feel like he kind of got outperformed by Drake May. Coming down here, Chiefs, Jags, obviously a crazy ending. I feel like the teams that are beating us are beating us for no reason. We're really just beating ourselves. What is interesting here is I had the score picked pretty well. Okay, hopping into our recap for this weekend for my fantasy teams. Number one here, I took a loss, 2-3, not good to go down here. I feel like my team's pretty good, and that's where I'm really struggling with this. I feel like Hollywood Brown could obviously go somewhere else. Arizona, I thought when they played Tennessee, they'd do pretty good. Gave me 6 points, which is all right, more than his 2 that the Chargers gave him. But the bench is scoring well, and that's where I'm worried. Like James Cook got outscored by Nick Chubb, and I thought Nick Chubb was about to get replaced. I'm glad I didn't drop him. But James Cook, this is a guy that scored 20 plus points in all of his games this year, and now he comes out and scores 4. Not ideal. Bo Nix, not going to outscore my boy Danny Jones. Really a leader up there. Saquon had his first big game, and then Jackson Smith had a good one too. But I need some really good outputs here, and Zach Ertz had 0 points, which is pitiful. He's going to be on the bench for Brandon Strange next week. I also took a loss here. I'm 3-2 in this league. I'm still second in the league, which is kind of important. The person I lost to, Ray, is third in the league. So this helps for the power rankings. The fact that I only lost to the number 1 and number 2 guys so far. So this helps me in this league. Kind of my pitfalls here again: James Cook and Kenneth Walker. It's my running backs in this league. And there's not too many running backs that I have, but I'm going to swap in Quentin Sean Junkins. As a matter of fact, I already have for the next week right here. Hopping over to a big win here for my 5-0 league. Look at us, 5-0, man. I love being 5-0. No one in the NFL is 5-0, so this is pretty cool here. Let's go see if anybody else is 5-0. Oh, Bob's Burgers Corporate. He's also 5-0. So the two of us were up at the top. This guy didn't play his starters, so obviously I was going to take that win here. Not even going to brag too much about that one. We're going to come over here to my big money league scores here. Took a big win here to go 4-1. That means standings overall. I think I'm in first place. Let's go. Big money league, first place, tied barely, but I have the most points for, and I have more points against. So kind of coming elite in this one. What I'm worried about, and especially this week, I have CJ Stroud on a bye. So we're going to move him down for Baker. And then Woody Marks is also on a bye. We're going to move Bucky Irving up here for now in case of play, and Will Ricard's on a bye. I'm going to move Tyler Bass in there, but Tyler Bass is on IR. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to watch this week, and I'm going to watch Bucky Irving's status. If Bucky Irving plays, I'm going to play him. He's an elite running back. He's a number one, and I'm going to let him go. If he doesn't play, I'm going to have to put him on IR and pick up a running back. And my pickup would probably be Rico Dowell in this league, just because he's been playing great. Or Michael Carter for Arizona, who had a great weekend this last weekend, 13 points against Tennessee. Rico Dowell had about 24, though. Oh, check that, 35 points. Really came into his own with Chuba Hubbard out. So I like Rico Dowell as a pickup in this league. Other than that, running back wise, to keep your eye on. Down here, Kareem Hunt, obviously they're giving him the ball towards the end zone. So you want to look out for him. This is coming from a Chiefs fan too, so keep my little biased thoughts in mind. But at the same time, if he's going to have 17 points here, 10 points here, when they're close to the goal line, he's going to be fed, and that's an important thing to watch out for. That's like Zach Charbonnet here. Very similar status, 10-10, a little more consistent than Kareem Hunt, stuff you want to look out for. Vidal / Haskins for Chargers. So you have Haskins here, Hassan Haskins, or Vidal. Both of these guys are going to come in and sub out for Omarion Hampton, who just went on IR with his ankle. I think my pick over the two would be Vidal, just because he looks like a little more of a set pick. Also, you have like Kendre Miller here, who's coming up in touches. I think he's been 5 touches, 7 touches, 11 touches, 10 touches. Fantasy points weren't there this week, but it's because he didn't have a touchdown. And I think that his kind of rookie status really helps him here. We talked a little about him earlier. Other than that, some guys you could pick up would be like Tyler Algier. They obviously play an important role as a backup on these teams. But if you're coming into like some of my other leagues, like in this one, there is not that much depth at running back. This one has a great depth, actually. Isaiah Pacheco, Nick Chubb, Rico Dowell. This one in phenomenal depth, actually. But in here, I have James Cook, Quinshon Judkins, and Kenneth Walker. So I'm not going to make too many subs there. Compared to this league, where running backs include James Conner, who's on IR, Brayshawn Tutton, guys who the highest last score would have been 9 points. Someone else we've talked about today would be Brashad Smith. He is a great rookie, and I feel like the Chiefs are going to keep feeding him. They've increased his touches every game, but it's more 3 receptions these last 2. That's what really helps, especially if you're in a PPR league. These Brashad Smith-like guys, these guys are going to get out and get a couple catches are really important. Like Samaje Perine, 2 receptions. Oh, just for 2 yards though. So, but that's still 2 points, just because he's catching the ball. So you want to keep these things in mind. Amir Abdullah, I think he just got traded. Yep, he's going to be on the Colts now, playing behind Jonathan Taylor, who you do not want to be playing behind. For quarterback pickups this week, I would like to look at maybe Sam Darnold if you need some depth. He had 350 yards passing last week. I'm sure he's available in this league right here. Sam Darnold right here, 27 points last week, and averaging towards the lower end of players. But so is Trevor Lawrence here, and he had a great night last night. So I'd take a look at Sam Darnold. If Dak's available here, obviously a great quarterback to look out for. Matter of fact, I'm going to add him and replace for a Justice or a Hollywood. Oh, I have Bo here too. I'm going to leave that. Just because Dak is just so high output right now. Through NFL Pro, he is the highest leading scorer or highest passer right now for quarterbacks. Slide over here to quarterbacks. Let it load real quick. And other guys at quarterbacks, we have like Bryce Young, Carson Wentz, guys you'd want to look at. Bryce Young, because, if they're going to come back like that and Bryce Young's able to have a little run game with Rico Dow, that opens him up downfield too. We also have Carson Wentz. This guy's pretty good. Oh, goodness. It's not going to give us quarterbacks. There we are. Josh Allen. Dak's at 5 right now with fantasy points. We have Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Dak Prescott. These guys are all very good. And we'll look at QBR over here too. Actually, it's not going to be listed here. But also, a thing I like to get is just yards, just for volume purposes. And I think right at the top, it's going to be Matthew Stafford and Dak Prescott. And who do you think are the best receivers in the league right now? Puka Nacua. Huh. CeeDee Lamb. Huh. Jalen Tolbert. Huh. All these guys are really doing great right now. And they're playing for these guys that are just chucking the ball up there. And the rookie of the year, possibly, Emeka Egbuka, playing for the 4th highest passer of the year, Baker Mayfield. And boy, do I love seeing Baker Mayfield fired up, just yelling at fans and just telling everybody what they need to do. But there is a Baker Mayfield cycle. And the Baker Mayfield cycle means that one day this will all come back. And it looks like something a little bit like this. We are at the call out the doubter stage, okay? And he's been beating some inferior opponents. Next week, we will be at play like shit. I promise you. I'm not going to be too high on the Buccaneers here because they're going to play like shit next week. And then the week after, you guys can see the graph here. It's going to be criticized by the media. And then he's going to be like, oh, yeah, Baker's bad again. And then he's going to come out. He's going to go into his dungeon. And he's going to do what he needs to do. And he's going to listen to his little, bangers, put on his headphones, come out, and he's going to beat someone. He's going to beat someone crazy. Let's see the Buccaneers schedule real quick. Oh, yeah, here we go. So the Buccaneers play the 49ers, and then they play the Lions. I feel like they might lose against the Lions, but they're going to clear out here. They're going to lose against the Bills and the Rams. And that's where he's going to get really criticized right here. They're going to be like, oh, hey, he's not nobody. And he's going to come out and he's going to beat the Cardinals and the Saints and the Falcons and the Panthers and the Dolphins. And then it's going to come around the corner. Oh, they play the Panthers again. Man, he's going to come around the corner. They're going to the playoffs. They're going to have the 1 seed. This is going to be really easy for these guys, quite honestly. Standing-wise, where are they at? First in the division. They have the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Saints. These guys will easily take the division here. They honestly don't have to worry about it. So he's going to go through the cycle. We don't know how many times this year. It may just be once. It may be 3 times. Who knows? But the Baker Mayfield experience, this is something we live and die for here. Coming up this week, I don't have too many things that I want to look for before my picks on Thursday. Otherwise, like wide receiver, there's no one really crazy that I would look at player-wise. Coming over here, I could possibly need one in this league. And my only pickups like to sort by average over here. You know, these guys don't even count. Parker Washington did have a great night last night. He looked like a great target for him. Uh, DeAndre Hopkins could possibly be one, but if Lamar Jackson isn't at quarterback, I don't want him. And maybe, you know, you never know. I guess you can't find any more Buccaneers or no, Bengals receivers here. Maybe tight end here. Yeah, no crazy tight ends I'm looking out for either, besides maybe Mason Tyler. See if he's even out on this league. Mason Taylor, actually. Yep, he's already on a team. Very good. Putting up great points. A part of this offense now. 17 points, 11 the week before. If you're going to get 9 receptions as a tight end, come on now. We'll give it to you. I think Dalton Kincaid had very similar this past week. But the week before he only had 1 catch. Oh, 6 catches this week for about 16 points. But yeah, the week before 1 catch, but still up for a touchdown and 9.8 points. So, you don't even need too much output by these guys. But obviously, if they're going to get more catches in these PPR leagues, that's where it's very important. If you're in a PPR league and you're got a tight end that's going to catch 6 catches a game just because they're giving him little out routes and stuff, that's a guaranteed 6 points a game. That's like a guaranteed touchdown per game. So you really can count on that, especially, like I said, in the PPR leagues. Non-PPR, though, focus on the wide receivers. Focus on the guys that are really going to get you some touchdowns and long yards. So coming over here, like in this one, if I were to look here, we would definitely want to sort by fantasy points, because you look at these guys like Trey Tucker. He's going to be the guy to get long yards and touchdowns. Because you don't want the guys that are always going to be there to catch the ball on every slant. That's not who you want in these leagues. Keon Coleman, Darren Waller, he has had a couple touchdowns this year. Game log wise, yeah, he had 13 points and 14 points. He has three catches and 5 catches. This is a guy that they want to use in the red zone specifically, which is the guys you want to look for. In the non-PPR leagues. PPR league, we talked, different story. Coming into this next week, man, I just want to see the Chiefs come out and play a great game of football. They're playing at Arrowhead. I'm very tempted to buy tickets. They're a little expensive. Maybe I might buy tickets and then put money on the Bengals, so that if the Bengals win, the Lions. They're both a stupid animal. If the Lions win, then I make money. And if the Chiefs win, I go home having fun. So maybe I might go to the game and bet on the Lions. That might help this line here too as well. My low bets. But here we are. Chiefs suck. If I can expand this, I would. Let's see what font I can put this at. About 100. Yeah. There we are. That's how I'm feeling this week. Just letting you guys know. I think I'll see you guys next week. No, I'll see you Thursday.